Hey, what's up everyone? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review we're looking at my newest custom, which is a new version of the Red Hood. I made a few different Red Hoods in the past. This one is mostly based on the animated film Under the Red Hood. It's not exactly the same design, but it's fairly similar. That's what the customer wanted, so that's what we did. The color scheme is definitely based on the movie, and most of, like I said, most of the outfit is as well. I'll get into the recipe in a second. He stands, how tall is he? About just shy of 6.5 inches tall. The jacket and upper arms are from Mr. Terrific. The lower arms and hands are from Jonah Hex. The torso is from Mr. Terrific. The legs are from Jonah Hex up to the top of the boot. Then from the boot down, it is from Mr. Terrific. The holsters, the thigh holsters, are from Marvel Legends Protector, and what I did for that was I took his entire belt and I sanded down and trimmed off all of the pouches and everything, and I carved a groove all the way around his pants so that that belt would actually fit into that groove, and I glued that in, and then I sculpted a new belt, which is the obviously the belt that you can see here. Sculpted that on top so that it looked nice, and it's definitely not going anywhere since you have to have the posability for the legs. Those are going to be moving around, so you need to make sure they're in there nice and tight, so that's how I did that. The seam on the shirt there is actually the exact same stuff I use for the seam work on the Deadpools that I've done, or a few other characters as well. But anywhere where I did like the wire insulation piping, it's the exact same thing, except I turned it over, and it has a different effect, which you can kind of see. It has like the line down the middle, so I did that. And in order to make it fit underneath the ab crunch there without rubbing or anything, I actually hollowed out the abs a little bit and added that in there. You can't tell I did that by looking at it, but it makes it tuck under pretty well. The helmeted head right there is all sculpted. That was fun. It's a little bit of a new design that I've never done before, in that it has the more screen accurate look with the angular mouthpiece area, so that was kind of fun to do. I think it's probably a little bit of a nicer look for the character as well, so I'm happy to do that again. I wanted to point out the Jonah Hex legs, their crotch piece is completely different in the way it connects to the abdomen piece than the Mr. Terrific body, so that takes a whole lot of finagling. I basically reworked the guts of those pieces to make them work together, so you couldn't tell that I did it by looking at it, but all of the insides are rebuilt. And then for the legs, I actually just cut both legs off where I wanted them. I put a screw in the shin bone, or to replace like where the tibia would be. That's the shin bone for those of you that don't know. And then I just connected the legs through that giant screw, giant for him anyway, and then I sculpted the top of the boot around that. Sculpted the little pads on the gloves and on the boots, and then full paint job there. And then he also has an alternate head, which I haven't done before on the Red Hood. So he's got the helmeted head, and then I used the screw for the neck magnet combination thing there. Then he's also got the Jason Todd head. And the head we decided to use was actually the Terry McGinnis head from the Unmasked Batman Beyond. And what I did for that was I added a little bit of hair on this side, just to make it come down, since Jason Todd doesn't have the full comb over like Terry McGinnis has. And then I also sculpted the mask on him, which was kind of a pain in the butt, but I think it turned out pretty good and it looks pretty nice, and I think it gives it a fairly decent Jason Todd look. I know it's not exactly the same as in the movie. He's got kind of more of a crew cut type hair, but it worked well, I think, for this character, and then I just repainted it. So I was happy with how that worked out, and the customer was happy with that. We actually did the green mask on him, even though when he's got the helmet on, the part around the eyes is black. In the movie, once he takes the helmet off, it's green, so that's what we did for this one. And I made it so that, since DCUC figures kind of have lousy neck and head articulation, using the magnet, I'm able to give them a whole lot more. And it just helps to pose the figure a little bit better, you know, turn the head down like that. You can't always do that in all of the DC figures, so he can look up and down and side to side. It's a little more restrictive on the helmeted head just because it's a full helmet, and it hits the neck a little more easily, but it does have a little more enhanced articulation. One thing I forgot to mention is I added a knife in the back, and how I did that was I used one of the Drax knife things, which really suck for him, but they're good for this kind of thing. I actually connected that to the protector belt, and then I sculpted over that belt as well. And the reason it's good is because, as you can see in there, it's kind of like a little separate piece. It's not actually connected all the way down to the butt, and so it applies just enough pressure to hold the weapon in place, but not enough to really scuff it up or anything. Okay, so he's got that, and then he also has obviously the two guns. Of course, they have to have some guns for the Red Hood to pull those out. I'm trying to do this holding the figure awkwardly. So he has two of these guns, which are from one of the Captain America figures, I think. I just painted them up to look like custom-made weapons for Jason Todd, for the Red Hood, because he's all about the guns, and he's got one of these. Again, I just souped it up a little bit, and a shotgun as well. So that's it. He's got two long guns, two pistols, and a knife, an interchangeable head, and there he is. I think this is probably my favorite version of the Red Hood that I've done. I like having the interchangeable heads, and I do like the color scheme from the movie as well. And I do like this recipe, even though it's loads more work to put all these different parts together than just using the Mr. Terrific body, but I do think it paid off. And the customer's really happy, so let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. And thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more figure reviews, custom figures, and other good stuff. In the meantime, keep collecting.